What is up, everybody? Stacey Blackwood here from Tide Talk Live, joined with Jake Thomas. Jake, big show as we at the signing class from 2023. Nick Saban and his staff have done it again, buddy. What an incredible class, the number one class in the country, maybe the number one class ever. I cannot wait to dive into it on this episode of Tide Talk Live. Welcome back to another episode of Tide Talk Live. Stacey Blackwood, joined as always by Jake Thomas. Jake, we're talking National Signing Day or early signing period, whatever we want to call it nowadays.
Right.
This has kind of become signing day. What we're used to being in February is now in December. Jake, first of all, how are you doing and your reaction to this ridiculous class that Nick Saban has brought in?
Man, I'm doing great. Most of the country's fixing to be under a deep freeze. We're going to be a part of that. So winterize my house a little bit, and going to winterize myself a little bit too. But anyway, on this class, man, what an incredible haul for Alabama. And I was telling some guys today at work, what I love about this class is, to me, they're all locked in. I mean, you heard Tony Mitchell talk about being locked in. You saw Richard Young and Caleb Downs and Justice Haynes all going out recruiting. They was recruiting Proctor and trying to get him in, and finally got him on. So this group right here is going to be the turning point to get us back to the mindset that we kind of lost the last couple of years, and that is championship football. And I believe this group right here is going to be the one that turns it around.
Yeah, no doubt. And we're going to talk more about that here in just a minute. But Jake, as always, I got to tell everybody, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that notification bell, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then jump in the comment section and let us know your thoughts on this signing class for Alabama, the number one class in the country. And while you're at it, look in the description below, follow the link to BetUS, sign up today, make that first deposit. And when you do, you receive a 125% bonus on that deposit. That's free money, people. I don't know what you're waiting for. Do it now. All right, Jake. I'm fixing to bring up the rankings or the class from on three. You see it there, Jake. First overall, the average the blue chip percentage is 96% of the class is considered a blue chip. NIL average NIL valuation $150,000. All that is really not relevant, but Jake.
Right.
Look, just 5-star after 5-star after 5-star. And Jake, we can't really talk about this class, in my opinion, without starting with that guy up top, Caleb Downs. Jake, he's already with the team practicing in Tuscaloosa, so that's big news. Obviously, he's not eligible for the game, but the fact that he's able to practice now, it just gives him even more of a head start. And Jake, Caleb Downs is to me is surefire of a future superstar in college football that I can think of. And I mean, he's just unbelievable. I think he is destined for greatness. One of the best safety prospects I remember ever watching, and I cannot wait to see what he does in his time at Tuscaloosa.
Man, yeah, you're 100% right about that. You talk about him already being on the team practicing, and that kind of gets him a step ahead for next year. You talk about a guy who could come on campus day one and be a starter. I mean, he's got that type of talent, and there's going to be a lot of positions in that backfield, the secondary, that's going to be up for grabs next year. So he can come in and take one of them away easily because he's just that good.
Yeah, and then you look on staying on the defensive side of the ball, Jake, Keeley, a guy who just committed a few days ago. He decommitted from Notre Dame several months back. Alabama has been hot after him ever since then, and he finally decides to pull the trigger. I believe that was on Monday of this week. Just a massive gift for Alabama. Obviously Alabama's probably going to be losing Will Anderson Jr., the best edge rusher in all of college football over the past few seasons. And now you bring in a guy like Keeley, who is explosive and just huge, Jake. He's already 6'6", around 245. Just a playmaker, Jake. He's going to eat up blockers. He's going to use his quickness. He already has a couple moves in his back pocket that he can use when he doesn't beat you with speed or power. And he's just another guy that Alabama can bring off the edge, probably joining guys like Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell, Jeremiah Alexander, Keanu Coate, guys that are already on the roster. Now you have Keon, Keeley, Jake, who's just a phenomenal player, and to me, much like Downs, has a chance just because of how elite he is to make an early impact for the Crimson Tide.
Absolutely. You have Will Anderson leaving, but you have Dallas Turner returning next year. But having somebody opposite of Dallas is going to be key for next year's defense. And Keon Keeley can definitely step up and be that next guy to opposite of Dallas next year. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table.
Yeah, not going to spend a lot of time on Kadyn Proctor. Another massive get for Alabama as
Hmm.
he flips from Iowa to Alabama this week and then signs on Wednesday. Arguably either the first or second best offensive tackle in this class, kind of depending on who you look at. And that's kind of why I wanted to use the On3 site, because it kind of shows what everybody ranks each of these prospects. And we're not going to go over all these prospects in great depth, but Kadyn Proctor, Jake, a guy who has a chance. There will be an offensive tackle spot open
Right.
for competition in the offseason, and Proctor is certainly a guy to be watching out for. And is there anything you want to add on Proctor?
No, I'm just excited to see what he does. Like you said, there's going to be opportunity for him to step on the field and take a day one spot at a right tackle, because I figured Latham would probably move over to left tackle beginning of next year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would agree with that. I think
Mhm.
you're probably going to see a situation where, in the end, it's a battle between Elijah Pritchett, a guy who's going to be a redshirt freshman next season, and
Mhm.
then Kadyn Proctor for that starting right tackle spot. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun to watch over the next several months until next August when fall camp rolls around. But
Wow.
Jake, the next three guys are the latest three guys to actually sign their letters of intent to Alabama. The dynamic duo from Carver High School in Montgomery, Alabama, James Smith and Quay Russaw, two five-star defenders from the same high school there in Montgomery.
Good night.
James Smith is a mobile and athletic interior defensive lineman who's going to remind a lot of Alabama fans of Marcel Darius, kind of going way back to the early Saban days. Just a disruptive player from the inside, from the interior defensive line spot, something that Alabama really has missed over the last couple seasons. So I think Smith is also a guy to kind of watch out for as far as freshmen who can make an early impact. Of course, there's still a lot of defensive linemen on the roster that'll be back next season. So he's going to have to come in and fight for a spot. Then you look at Quay Russaw, Jake, another guy who, to me, is a Rashawn Evans top player. He can play inside, he can play outside, and I think Alabama's going to use his versatility and play him a lot of different areas. Jake, I think you've seen Dallas Turner line up a lot all over the field this fall. I think you're going to see Quay Russaw in the future do much of the same. But as far as his build, his body type, his athleticism, I think it's going to remind a lot of people of Rashawn Evans, and I'm really excited about the duo from Carver High School.
Yeah, man, that duo, my gosh, I bet their defense was stout. If you look at their high school numbers, I bet it was impressive. But James Smith, man, you talk about comparisons to Marcel Darius, and like you said, it's been a while since we had a guy like that on that defensive front. Now we have some studs, coming back, like you said. We know Jaheim Otis made an impact as a freshman. James Smith can be that guy next year to make an impact on the defensive front as a freshman. And then
Quay Russaw.
Cray Russaw. That is a tough name to say. Um, I watched some of his video, man, and his closing speed is absolutely deadly. I mean, it is insane how fast he can get on you, and you don't even know it. I mean, by the time you get outside, he's on you, and you're just gobbled up. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, and that's why he reminds me so much of a guy like Rashawn Evans, where
Hmm.
Rashawn didn't have the greatest length to be an edge player all the time, and maybe lacked the consistent pass coverage skills to play on the inside all the time. But his elite closing speed, you just couldn't keep him off the field, because sideline to sideline, he's gonna track the ball carrier down and make plays for your defense, and he's gonna be a playmaker for Alabama over the next few seasons.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited to see him as well.
Yeah, then Desmond Ricks, Jake, he commits. We're recording this on Thursday night. He commits earlier this afternoon. A guy that reclassified from the class of 2024. To me, he's the second best corner in this class. 6'1", 180, great length, great athleticism. The future is bright for him. At the IMG Pro Day, the high school pro day for those prospects down there in Florida, Ricks ran a 4.540 as a junior, technically a junior in high school, the best time of anybody on IMG's team. He also had a 39-inch vertical leap. So the guy is an athlete. He's young. He's still raw. His best football is ahead of him. And, we still have guys like Kool-Aid McKinstry. There's a chance Eli Ricks is back next season. So there's not, potentially maybe not a need for him to play right away, but the opportunity that he's going to have to develop and grow as a player, I think by the time he's a second-year player, you're looking at one of the best cover corners in the SEC.
I agree 100%. I think this was a needed position or a needed guy to get. And Saban, there's a lot of back and forth between LSU and I think it was Miami that was going after him hard. And I think Saban finally pinpointed and said, "Hey, we got to get this guy," and we got him.
Yeah, no doubt. And Jake, I don't want to cover every guy in this class because we could be here for an hour for doing
Yeah.
that. But Jake, I want to just talk about a handful of other players. Jake, we have two great running backs, Richard Young, Justice Haynes.
Hmm.
I love both of those guys. I think in the beginning of the process, I was higher on Young than I was Haynes. But I think after the conclusion of their senior seasons, I would give Haynes the edge over Young just in the slightest way. I think Haynes is just a more complete back at this point in time over Young, and I'm excited to have both of them because I think Haynes is a guy, much how I feel like Caleb Downs is like a sure thing at the safety position for being a star at the college level. I just don't see a way or a route where Justice Haynes is not a star running back in college football sometime in the near future. So I'm excited about those two guys, excited about the two quarterbacks we have coming in. Quarterback, we don't need a freshman to come in and play next year.
Right.
Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson are still going to be on the roster. So there's not great experience there, but Jake, there's guys that are ahead of them that will be ready to play. Those two players can kind of sit back, learn the offense, get comfortable in the system, get comfortable in Tuscaloosa, just around the pro in general, and their services are not going to be needed right away. So I think that's going to be great for their development, and I'm excited about the future of the quarterback room there in Tuscaloosa as well.
Absolutely. Going back to the two running backs, I'm very, very excited to see them here in a few years. Just for the fact that, I think it's going to be critical on who the next offensive coordinator is going to be because, two guys like that, you need to have both of them lined up on each side of a quarterback just for a mismatch, you know, purpose. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But both of them guys are going to be spearheads in a couple years at running backs for Alabama.
Yeah, and Jake, before we, there's obviously plenty of talent in this class. And like we said, I hate to not talk about everybody, but I don't want to be here for an hour talking about everybody.
Yeah,
It's the holidays. We both got a lot going on with family Christmases and stuff like that. So we got things to do. But Jake, is there a player in this class that maybe we haven't talked about yet that you think is either a sure thing or just maybe your favorite prospect overall?
I believe mine is going to be we ain't spoke about him yet, and that is Benson Malik Benson. Talking about his absolute speed is just absolutely amazing, and we missed that last year. Honestly, from this team, we didn't have anybody that can take the top off a defense, and I feel like he's going to be that next guy that can do it. And he was even on record. I heard an interview from him the other day talking about he feels like he's like a Henry Ruggs and a Jameson Williams type guy because he has that speed, and those guys were known for their speed. So I'm excited to see that. Got a lot of great prospects coming in though, man. And like I said, beginning of the show, it's kind of like the changing of the guard a little bit. I'm not saying that the past guys don't want to win, but you could tell the mindset just wasn't right this year. These guys, they have continued to say time and time again, they're locked in, and I believe they are locked in. And this fits, we hear all the time how the dynasty is dying. It ain't dead yet, and it ain't going nowhere until Saban retires.
Dude, Saban recruited his butt off in this
Yeah.
class, and
Mm-hmm.
you kind of stole my thunder with a Malik Benson pick. But I'm going to go,
Mm-hmm.
instead of picking one player, I'm just going to go with the offensive line class as a whole, just the best offensive line class in the country.
Yeah.
Uh, you have some real star power with Kadyn Proctor and Wilkin Formby, two guys who I think in a couple years will be the bookend tackles for the Crimson Tide. And then you have a lot of beef there, Jake. Raquez McElderry, or however you say his name,
Yeah.
345 pounds there on the interior. Miles McVay, a 360 plus pound guy. I think you see a concentrated effort from the coaching staff to beef up that offensive line and kind of get more back to just beating people up front. And that's what
Get more
Alabama's not
physical.
had over the last couple
Mhm.
seasons. The physicality has left. And, we've kind of talked about that in the past, Jake, of how, once Tua got to Alabama, they're like, hey, we got to change what we're doing offensively to fit this guy's, skill set. And it worked for Alabama. It's not that it didn't work,
Mhm.
but you have to continue to develop. And that if it's going back to a more physical style of play, then that's
Mhm.
what you do. And I think that's what Coach Saban senses he needs to do. And I think that is made evident by the class that he brought in on the offensive line. Just a great class. And getting Kadyn Proctor to flip was really
Yeah.
the icing on the cake for that offensive line unit. And I'm really excited about the future of that position.
Yeah, that offensive line is going to be nasty in a few years, and like you said, that's something we've lacked the last couple of years is that nastiness from the offensive front. It's time to, like you said, beef them up a little bit and get back to being more physical in the trenches. I'm excited to see that, with this group of guys coming in.
All right, real quick, Jake, before we head out, you don't know what I'm going to ask you. We're going to do some rapid fire, just real quick, just some kind of superlatives or predictions for this class, Jake. Uh, and then we'll end it on something easy. But number one, Jake, who out of this class, who do you think will be the highest NFL draft pick?
I'm going to say, Kadyn Proctor.
I agree.
Hmm.
Good pick. All right, who in this class do you think will be the biggest impact player as a true freshman?
That's a good question. I think it's going to be Keon Keeley.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give you two different guys. I'm going to give you Caleb Downs, and I'm going to give you Connor Talty, the kicker.
Yeah, Talty, yeah, he's gonna make it a million impact for sure because we don't have another kicker on the staff once Proctor leaves. But yeah, Kelly Downs a good pick too.
All right, Jake. Last thing, who is your favorite player in this class? I don't mean who you think the best player is or who you think is going to be the best player. Who do you think, or who is just your favorite player overall?
I think from all the interaction that they have done with Tide fans on Twitter and stuff, it's got to be Downs and Justice Haynes and Richard, for me because they're getting out and they're saying the right stuff and they got the right mindset, and that's all I really wanted to have the right mindset coming in, and let's get back to Alabama football, get back to the standard, and I feel like they're going to lead that.
Yeah, I love all those picks. I'm going to kind of give a cheating answer. My favorite football player in this class, and this goes for anybody signed, is Caleb Downs. I think
Yeah.
I've said it for months. I said it before he even committed to Alabama. He is pound for pound the best football player in this class. And
Hmm.
to me, it's not. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
If you look at what he can do at his position at this point in time, nobody else does a better job at their position.
Right.
He is a superstar in the waiting. But as far as just a guy that I'm not going to have a hard time rooting for, Richard Young, Justice Haynes, that running back duo, Jake, they have worked their
True.
butts off to recruit some of these other players in this class, including
Hmm.
guys like Keon Keeley and Kadyn Proctor. Uh,
Hmm.
I love those two guys. They're Alabama through and through.
Right.
And another guy, I never can say his name right. The offensive lineman who's from like Germany, Oleus Alien or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know why. I just struggle with that name. So
Mhm.
I apologize for that. But he's another guy who's really done a really good job recruiting some of these prospects for this class. So I agree. You kind of said it in the opening, Jake. This class seems to have that it factor of wanting to
Mhm.
get back to that Bama standard. And
Mhm.
I think you're going to see a turning of the tide,
Ah,
pun intended,
mhm.
from this class. And I'm excited to see what the future holds.
I got one quick one for you.
Okay.
Do you see 3 championships out of this class? 3 national championships.
All right. So you're saying anybody in this class, will anybody in this class win 3 championships?
Mhm.
Wow. I'm going to say no
It's so hard
because that's
nowadays.
just
It
so
is.
hard. I mean,
Yeah.
especially, I mean, they're going to be getting in about every play. They're going to be getting in every playoff. I mean, because there's going
Yeah.
to be a 12-team playoff. I mean,
Yeah.
so they'll obviously have a great opportunity. But 3, I mean, you're pretty much saying 3 Alabama win championship 3 out of the next 5 years. That's not likely.
Mhm.
Um, but I would be, let's say a guy like I don't know, a Miles McVay, who's probably going to redshirt this year at offensive line, and maybe doesn't have a early round NFL potential. And he could. I'm
Mhm.
just using it as an example. I'm not
Mhm.
even gonna use nobody's name because that's not fair to them. Uh, Player X, red shirts, never really has a first round or second round grade in the draft. I would be shocked if they didn't win 2 championships.
Right.
Plus
Yeah.
this age in the transfer portal and all this. I mean,
Right.
who knows what this class even looks like in 2 years or even
I
next
know.
year.
Even next year, it could change.
Yeah, and that's a discussion for another day. But
Mhm.
my gosh, that the portal is driving me crazy.
I know. Yeah, they
Oh, and one other point. And I don't really have any problems with Kirby Smart, but he acted like Georgia was some kind of superior being because they didn't go to the transfer portal. And then today they get 2 receivers from the
I
SEC from the transfer portal. Like,
right, yeah.
oh my gosh. I mean, like,
Yeah.
but Georgia don't build their roster with transfer portal guys.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
one more thing on Georgia. Arik Gilbert entered the portal. Should Alabama target him?
If he's not a head case, I mean, why not? At least inquire about him,
I,
but if
that,
he kind of a head case, then I would stay away.
yeah, and I think I'm with you. I think it's one of those things like maybe touch base with the guy, see how he
Mhm.
is, see if it's
Right.
something you're interested in doing. Maybe like a speed date, and then,
Right, yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Just kind of go from there. But Jake, I enjoyed it, man.
Man,
What a
yeah.
class for Nick Saban in Alabama.
Best
Uh,
ever, probably.
to me
Mhm.
on paper, it's the best recruiting class of all time,
Mhm.
and Alabama's coming off their worst season in a decade. It's
With
truly
2
unbelievable.
and just 2 losses, and that's the worst
Yeah,
season in a
right,
decade.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're playing in a New Year's Six game. So
Yeah.
poor Alabama.
Poor Alabama.
Little Alabama, as Dabo would say.
Yep, man. This
We're
this
not we're
decline
we're we're not going to get into Dabo either.
no, this decline, if this is our decline, and I hate to see what the next, off season is going to be like after this haul. I
Oh
think
man,
somebody pissed Saban off because he just went out and recruited his butt off,
he
you know,
did. He,
and so
he's he went all out, and
he
and
did.
and the Desmond Ricks thing, Jake, it
Mhm.
all happened because of Nick Saban.
That's the icing on the cake.
It was icing on the cake because, like you mentioned,
Mhm.
it was a position of need. We have 4 really, really good defensive backs in this
Mhm.
class, but I'm not sure any of those guys are going to be true corners. But
Mhm.
Desmond Ricks is a true corner.
Right, he's going to be that guy. So
But anyways, Guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe today. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode of Tide Talk Live. Also, jump in the comments and let us know your thoughts on this class. Cannot wait to hear from all you there. Jump in the description, follow the link to BetUS, sign up today, make that first deposit, and receive that 125% deposit or bonus on that deposit. That is free money. You put in $100, they will give you 125. I don't know what you're waiting on. Do it now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, roll Tide.
Roll Tide.